Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. In today's video I want to give you an example of a tennis serve lesson for beginners. The reason why I'm saying an example is because you cannot learn a serve in one lesson, especially if you're a beginner. The serve is the most complex stroke in tennis and it takes time to develop. But my main purpose today is to give you a structure of how you should structure a beginner lesson when they're learning a serve, and I'll give you an example of drills. And you can use that then when you browse YouTube or find drills somewhere else and you know where to put them in the structure so that they have the right sequence. So the structure we're going to follow has 5 parts. The first part is warming up with throwing. I believe that throwing mechanics is the foundation of the serve mechanics, and I always like to start a serving session with some kind of throwing, whether throwing balls or throwing old rackets or throwing sticks or something like that. And then the second part that's very important for a beginner is getting used to the Continental Grip. Every beginner starts with the forehand grip. It makes sense to them to serve like this, and when we ask them to change to a Continental Grip and serve differently, they don't know how to do it. In fact, it's going to be quite a messy situation when they try to do it, so we have to give them regularly drills to get used to the Continental Grip. Then the third part of the structure is pronation drills. Beginners are not used to pronation and we have to give them various drills for pronation. I'll show you one today. I have posted many on my channel before. I'll give you a link in the card above and in the description below about pronation drills. And then part 4 are the swinging drills. Could also be throwing, but swinging drills, so to improve the fluidity and smoothness of the serve. And finally, we're trying to put the serve together and see how it goes. Again, expect a messy process. It's not going to work perfectly at the beginning, but your goal is to plant the seed and work on the serve over time, and it's going to improve.
And since you're interested in learning how to serve with a more advanced technique, I invite you to check out my free 30-day serve challenge. I've recorded 10 sessions of 30-minute drills for you to follow along and complete within 30 days. If you complete the challenge with progressively more advanced drills, you will undoubtedly serve with more effortless power in just 1 month. The link to the free registration is in the description, or scan the QR code on the screen.
So here's the first drill we're going to do related to throwing. We're going to try and also learn how to coordinate the arm, or at least, like I like to say, plant the seed so that the player starts to learn how to coordinate the arms. When we don't do drills like that, players tend to move the arms in the same way. So when we toss, this arm goes up extended, and then what oftentimes happens is this arm also comes up like this, and then we have a high elbow situation when players serve like this. And so the best way is to start at the beginning and make sure that the player gets used to extending non-dominant arm, left arm. For me, I'm right-hander, and getting the right arm in the throwing position. So the drill goes like this. I toss the ball and I throw this ball. So that's the drill. You don't have to try and hit the ball. Kids will tend to like and try and hit this ball that's in the air. Usually that's going to ruin their rhythm a little bit. So these drills are more for adults but also for kids. So start with both balls together like this so that your arms get nicely synchronized, and toss and throw. So how many repetitions you should do like this? I would say 20 to 30 when you're starting out, and maximum 50 if you really want to push it. You want to warm up. So here we go. Both arms together, this one up, this one throw. That's all. You don't have to think much more for the beginning. Toss and throw. As you progress with this drill for future sessions, you can pay more attention to where will the ball land from your toss, so that it doesn't kind of fly off somewhere. But you want to make a little square here on the ground, maybe with tapes, or if you're on clay court or on a court like this, you can just draw with your foot. You can put the racket down, so you're focusing that your toss is relatively accurate when you're doing this drill. And the second thing you can work on is your balance, because players will tend to toss and throw and they will immediately lose balance. So you want to work on balance too. So toss and throw and good stability after that. So not all that in one session, but just that you see some examples how you can progress further with this simple drill. So the next drill I like to do with beginners is getting them used to Continental Grip. If we just tell them serve with the Continental Grip, I'll show you what happens. So they're used to forehand grip. To every person, this kind of serve is very natural, very logical, very intuitive. So most people, adults, are going to start serving like this, and they have pretty good control of the ball. And so if we tell them to change to Continental Grip, that's basically a change of 90 degrees. So what they're going to do, they're going to keep the same mechanics, and they're going to try and hit with the Continental Grip, and they're going to hit a slice to the side. They will not be able to hit the ball straight because they are not used to pronating. And so if we force a beginner, we force them with the Continental Grip, they cannot play. So we have to teach them Continental Grip, but we must not force them because they will be unable to play any points with their friends or in mini competitions or whatever they do. So the process is gradual. We let them serve and gradually change their serve to the right one, but during the sessions we work on Continental Grip so that they get used to it. So the drill I like to use is like this. You hold the Continental Grip, you choke up on the grip, so you hold here, and you just tap the ball down like this. So what's important is that the racket is like this, parallel to your body and not away from you. This feels very awkward, even painful in the wrist. The reason why I point that out is because beginners are gonna tap the ball like this very easily with the forehand grip, and when the racket is pointing away from me, that is very easy. And so when we tell them to change the grip, they will likely unconsciously try to tap the ball like this, and it's very awkward. And as soon as we turn the racket here, it's way less awkward. So for a skilled player, this is completely comfortable, and for a beginner, it will be a little bit less awkward. But this is one drill that they can use to get used to the Continental Grip, because they're getting a lot of repetitions in very short amount of time. The ball keeps hitting the racket relatively quickly, and they're getting a lot of signals in their hand, in their forearm. And so you can do this for about 2 to 3 minutes continuously every session, and you're slowly getting used to the Continental Grip. Now, this is not the only drill. You have many drills, and it's also very useful to practice volleys, play mini tennis with slices and so on. So all sorts of exercises where you have to hold the Continental Grip, and you will gradually get used to it. How long does it usually take for the player to be comfortable with the Continental Grip? I would estimate 3 to 6 months. So when you watch a video on YouTube from coach that's telling you, okay, for the serve you have to hold the Continental Grip, and then we're gonna do a backswing, and hey, hold your horses. When you tell the player to change to Continental Grip, they cannot serve for a long time with this grip. So just keep that in mind, right? Theoretically, the instruction is correct, yes. Let's hold the Continental Grip for the serve, but it's gonna take a long time before you're comfortable with it. So you have to do the exercises for the grip, and you have to do the exercises for pronation, which is the next step we're gonna take. So pronation is also an unusual movement for a beginner player that is trying to learn the serve, and they don't know how to do it, and usually we don't do anything in our normal life that has a pronation movement that we could associate with. So we have to do drills for pronation. So I will show you one today, but I've already posted a video in the past about pronation drills. Check the card above and link in the description. There are also a lot of other useful, good pronation drills from other coaches online. Just look them out and add them as a variation into this structure that I'm suggesting for a beginner. So right now we're in step 3, we're working on pronation. We did the warm-up, we did the Continental Grip. So one drill for pronation is kind of like an upgrade from this tapping down. You still choke up on the racket, you toss the ball, you let it bounce and you gently hit it in the ground, and you keep the racket on your right side. So for a right-hander, so you start here and you gently hit the ball ground. You can do that close to the net, you can do that over the net, all sorts of variations, but this is the variation I'm showing you today. So you gently control. So the most common mistake that players do with this drill is that they just kind of whack the ball down and they don't pay attention to how they will finish the move. And yet that is the most important part of this exercise, because you're teaching your arm to twist like this outwards. And so you have to be very conscious and aware of how you're doing this move. You do it very slowly, gently, because you are the coach of your arm and you're slowly teaching your arm how to move. So this is one example of pronation drills, but you have many more online. Just put them into this structure and work on this for about, let's say, 30 to 50 repetitions. Don't go more than that, because your arm is not used to that and you might feel very sore after that, or even injure yourself a little bit. The next type of drills I recommend for tennis beginners are swinging drills. So they are very popular in tennis. They've been around for a very long time. The most common that was invented many years ago is put two balls in a sock and swing the sock around. Then there's a Serve Master device on the market. I like to do swing the bag. Check the card above and link in the description of how I use swinging the bag exercise. So today I don't have any tools. Most of you will not have any tools, but what you can do is you can swing the racket with 3 fingers. This is also very classic standard exercise for develop connection, fluidity, smoothness on the serve. So you hold the racket with 3 fingers only at the end, and you swing it like this in a number 8 or even bigger, more than number 8 loops. So that's the drill, and you just practice like this smoothly. Make sure that you rotate your body, that you're not sideways when you do this, that you always come forward with your hip and you lift your heel, because that encourages good trunk body rotation into the ball. So this is the next drill I would do. Just a little bit and swing the racket. There are all sorts of variations with this. Even with this drill you can practice, for example, walking forward, so that you practice good balance and stability, and that your body rotations come into the ball and so on. So for now I'm just giving you a sample exercise for a beginner that's developing their serve, and also giving you a structure. So now we're at step 4, swinging drills. And finally in step 5 we're trying to put the serve together. So what I like to do first is to do a serve in 2 parts. So again, don't expect perfect technique. The player will still have not perfect grip. They will be on the forehand. You can ask them to try with the Continental Grip, but very likely you will get a serve like this. So that will be very frustrating to the player at first. First lesson, second lesson, maybe for 5 lessons, they will not be able to serve with the Continental Grip, not even close. So you have to let them come to somewhere in between, maybe forehand grip, because what matters most is that we have good fluidity of movements, the right path of swinging and so on, because even with this move I can show you that I can have the wrong grip, but if my mechanics are good I can still hit the ball pretty hard. I don't have good ball control, but you can see that the ball goes pretty fast. So the grip is not a problem for power or developing good smoothness in the serve. It's just something for foolproofing your serve for the future, because with this pancake grip you cannot spin the ball and you cannot slice the ball. So those types of serve are not possible, and so one reason why we have to learn Continental Grip is because we can learn topspin and slice serves. So how do we put the serve together? We use the serve in 2 parts, so it goes like this. You toss the ball and you catch it. So toss the ball and catch it. You can check your trophy position, toss the ball again and serve. So just in this exercise you can practice a lot of things. You can practice your balance, your stability, contact point, toss, and so on. So again, I'm just showing an example of how you can try and put the serve together in one session for tennis beginners. Toss the ball and serve. So here we go. Toss, catch, and serve. So this was an example of a serve lesson for tennis beginners. I hope you understand that you cannot learn the serve in one lesson and not even in 3 or 4 lessons. So my goal today was more to give you a structure, how you can structure a lesson. I gave you some examples. You can find many more on my channel and also on other channels on how to work on pronation, how to work on fluidity. So keep this structure in mind. Find drills from me or other coaches and put them in this structure and work on your serve that way. If you're still with me, I assume you're motivated to learn the tennis serve really well. So I recommend that you watch this video first on the tennis serve technique, where I explain the whole serve in 7 steps. And after that, I recommend that you join my free serve challenge, where I have 10 sessions of 30 minutes recorded with drills that I mentioned today. We work on pronation, we work on Continental Grip, we work on swinging and throwing, and you can join a community of other players that are working on their serve. I give them constant feedback, and that's your first step in developing good serve foundation. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.